Hello, welcome to the King Joe Sports Show. Hey, last night the Indiana Fever came up short against Phoenix Mercury, falling 85-79 in a game that had everything: big shots, superstar performances, and even some heated sideline drama. And included was this spin cycle that Aaliyah Boston got put in. Oh my God. Alyssa Thomas, that's too nasty. Let's get to it. King Joe Show right now. Let's go.
The King Joe Sports Show. Off, where sports and truth collide.
All right. The Fever fought hard tonight, keeping things close all night. But Phoenix had just a little more firepower down the stretch. And the Mercury leaned on their veterans to seal the deal, with Indians showing flashes and grit, trying to claw their way back late into the fourth quarter. Top performance for Indiana, you had Kelsey Mitchell, 29 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds. Lexi Hall was hot tonight, 18 points, 5 rebounds. But they were outdone as Alyssa Thomas had 23, 9 and 9, a rebound and an assist away from a triple-double. And DeWanna Bonner, oh man, we're gonna talk about Hurricane in a little bit. DeWanna Bonner came up big with 19 points, 4 rebounds as the Mercury defeat Indiana. Hello, I'm your host, King David Jordan. I hope you guys are having a great day. I hope you guys are having a great day. Listen, the game was crazy. It was competitive. Indiana, this is a huge game. This game had playoff implications, and Indiana kind of played like it was. Well, some of them did. Kelsey Mitchell was sensational. She dropped 29 points, pulled down 4 rebounds, and dished out 4 assists. And doing everything she could to try to carry this team offensively. And also, Lexi Hall stepped up big too, and she put in a big 18 points and 5 rebounds. The duo kept Indiana in the game. They kept them alive. And it was, especially when it looked like Phoenix was about to run away with it. Aaliyah Boston added 11 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists. I be 8 assists and 9 rebounds. But after that spin cycle that we showed at the beginning of the show, listen, we didn't see Aaliyah Boston anymore. She was out again. But the story of tonight, Alyssa Thomas again, a rebound, an assist away from a triple-double. She was everywhere tonight, controlling the game on both ends of the floor. I told Ella, I said, hey, when Alyssa Thomas starts smiling, oh, it's over with. You already know the good things are going on in Phoenix. And not only did Alyssa Thomas put in some work, her boo thing. DeWanna Bonner also kicked in 19 points, 4 rebounds, providing, again, why this Mercury team is tough and they're dangerous. They're going to be dangerous in this playoffs. And their bench just totally dominated Indiana's bench tonight. And it was a good game. I have to admit, it was a pretty good game, pretty entertaining. Indiana showed a whole lot of fight tonight. But they just couldn't get done. They couldn't get done. They struggled a lot for 3-point land tonight. Not, other than Kelsey, other than Lexi, everybody else kind of struggled with their shooting tonight. Once again, Natasha Howard gives you what Natasha Howard is going to give you a good game. She's going to give you 18 to 20 points, or she ain't going to give you pretty much anything. And that kind of goes for, right now. And we talked about the fact that this Indiana team, they went and got a lot of veterans, so they're leaning on their veterans because they haven't had a lot of time to play together. They had a lot of time to build camaraderie. So now they're allowing their veterans to play. And Stephanie White is trying to do her best to try to keep this team afloat to be in the playoffs. And like I said, this game was interesting. And it did not go without some flare-ups. The big news of the night. We want to recap the games and we'll get to the big news. The big news of the night, but let's talk about Phoenix. Let's talk about what really, really, really went down. You had Clark and DeWanna Bonner. Oh, man. All eyes were on them. Clark and her former teammate DeWanna Bonner had a tense moment, a very tense moment, during the timeout. And cameras caught Caitlin waving at Bonner and telling her to go back to her bench. And that clip is already blowing up across social media. And y'all know who has that clip? I have that clip. Yes, I do. Roll that footage.
As you see, the teams, there's a foul call, and it looks like they're asking for a review. And when I ask for a review, you see DeWanna and Caitlin start getting into it. Now, DeWanna is doing the universal sign here for review.
Kate's like, no, we're not playing that. Go on to your side. And as you saw, you had to have referees
Reese, get in between Caitlin. You see some of the security also as Caitlin, DeWanna Bonner is barking back and forth. Very interesting.
rumors that had been circulating that DeWanna Bonner wasn't a huge fan of Caitlin Clark's, which we kind of knew before the season. Which is why we wondered why Stephanie White, we wondered why Oscar, we wondered why Cots, we wondered why they bought DeWanna Bonner in from the beginning. Because it has kind of been, Phoenix is, and let's be honest, everybody tried to base it, Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. No, the real deal Holyfield, the real rivalry is none other than the Phoenix Mercury and the Indiana Fever. And because of what happened with DeWanna Bonner, that is the real rivalry. And right now, it's kind of like it's simmering. It's simmering. You know what I'm saying? And it's not all the way there yet because Caitlin is hurt. But trust me, when Caitlin returns, this thing is going to be out of here. Out of here. So I think the dust up or the altercation kind of brings a little bit of validity to some of the rumors that we were having that DeWanna Bonner and Caitlin Clark weren't the best of friends. And we have to wonder, why was she on the Indiana Fever to begin with? We have to wonder. And y'all got to understand, and I told y'all, Caitlin got a little psycho on her. You know how they talk about psycho Tom Brady? Caitlin got a little psycho in her too. Caitlin's not playing around. Kay had a little psycho in her also. And Caitlin's about her team. And I love the fact that Caitlin is starting to understand who she is. And she never backed down, even when she played. And this is kind of the second time they had a dust up. When she played last year, she ended up pushing DeWanna. And they had a little push off with Caitlin and DeWanna last year. Well, it's going to be interesting going forward. And I know DeWanna Bonner's at the trail end of her career, even though she's playing much, much better. She got nothing for Indiana, but now she's been a part of Phoenix. She's averaging like 11 points. She's looking like a totally new person. And someone was even talking about maybe she could be the sixth man of the year, which I was like, that's crazy. Because when she was on Indiana, we got nothing for her. Y'all remember me talking, I said, I think DeWanna Bonner's out of shape because she can't run with him and everything. And we knew that was a horrible fit. We saw that instantly. And we know last game she had some issues with Lexi, basically because Lexi took her position. Lexi was starting over her. But DeWanna Bonner so far, the last couple of games, since she's been a part of Phoenix, has gotten the last laugh at Indiana. You could tell her energy is all the way up when the Fever come to town. When she's ready when that ball is tipped off against the Fever, she's ready to rock and roll. She's ready to rock and roll. Crazy dust up. Interesting to see how this rivalry goes on forward. Could they possibly meet in the playoffs? How this goes, it's going to be interesting. And I think this is starting to be the real rivalry, Caitlin Clark, Phoenix. And it's other rivalries too, because I know a lot of people always talk about Caitlin and Angel, but you got Caitlin and Phoenix. You got Caitlin in Connecticut. You got Caitlin in different teams. So it's going to be interesting to see how this continue to transpire. This game not only had big dust-ups and altercations, it also had a lot of playoff implications also. With this, the loss drops the Indiana Fever to 21-20 on the season, and they're holding on to the AC by the hair of their chinny, chinny, chinny. They're holding on to that AC spot. and tried to push their way into the playoffs.
Thanks for watching the King Joe Sports Show. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and go for your goals now, because success looks good on you.